Whoa, another video. Working on the mastering for Harassed, and I kind of think I'm finished. I think so, because it sounds really good, and considering we recorded everything live, and there's some limitations that some things I can't really do because of bleed and stuff like that, and I can't push some stuff as hard into a compressor as I would like because I get some artifacts and stuff. But considering all of that, and I think it sounds pretty good, pretty insanely good. And if you can see this, what I usually do is I put all the tracks one after one in, I can't really see, but these are bussed into this, and this is actually my master. This is, here it is, this is where I put all the plugins. So unless I need to do something to one individual track, like one is recorded unlike the others, or it's missing something or something, I don't put anything on the individual tracks. I just put it on this master, and then I have here I have a parallel compressor. Sometimes I use a SPL to get some more punch out of it. SPL, the transient designer. This time I didn't think I had to do that, so now I only have two reference tracks. Reference old, which is a Entombed track, and reference new, which is a Job for a Cowboy from Ruination, because I really like the sound of that album. It's very analog sound, but it's still tight and punchy, and I think it's almost has a Neve type of sound to it. So I'm not the biggest fan of Job for a Cowboy, but that album sounds really good, so I used it as a reference, mostly for loudness, but and on the real master I'm actually using some effects. I think the kids are here. I use this Voxengo span just to check how everything looks and compare on the master. And what I have done with these so far is, the first one I've used is this one, of course. I've used a lot of console emulation and tape emulation, and I really want to get an analogish sound as much as possible, but I wanted to sound like real analog and not just overly driven emulated stuff. And then I use this Baxter EQ, which is awesome. I think it's free. Yeah, it's free. It's a variety of sound, but it's extremely great for broad strokes, and since it has a mid side, which I use more than left right, I can go in and do some broad editing on the low end. Like here I've cut at 36 Hertz, cause who needs that unless you're making hip hop, and I'm not right now. And then I have a shelf boosted about 2 dBs at 106 Hertz, because I noticed that I had, compared to Entombed for example and other stuff, I had very little happening in the 100 range. So I boosted that just a little bit to get some bass out and to tighten the sound up. And this is only in the middle. And on the high frequency, I boosted from 3.4 kilohertz to dB, just to get some vocals and snare and some of that stuff out a little bit more. And on the side here, I cut at 54 hertz. It's like a high-pass filter. And on the shelf, I actually boosted pretty much at 166 because the guitars were a bit too fizzy and too tight. I wanted to get a little bit more out of them. It's actually 3.5 dB boost. And then I boosted 2 dB at 1.6 because again, guitars needed to come out of there. And then on the sides I actually cut at 16 kilohertz to get a little bit, take some of the extreme high end out because it was getting a little bit obtrusive. And then after that I used the API 2500 compressor, which is one of the best ones I think. 3.3 to 1 ratio, fairly slow release, fairly fast attack. It's not hitting very hard. I mean, maybe tops 2 decibels. And then a tube tech to get some 1.5 out because I noticed that I was missing. I've scoped it too much, so I was trying to get it in, and I've also attenuated the highs. Just took it down a little bit. And then I have a stereo enhancer. This is one of the free ones from Reaper and it works perfectly. Just as good as any of the paying plugins I've tried. So just to get the guitars and everything just a little bit wider. I haven't tried to widen anything below 500, but from 500 hertz and up it's about 50% more. And then I have this, the TB Real Bus, which is awesome. It's a tape emulation. Have it on Real Master just to get some fatness and thickness. And then the L3 over here to limit it. Not very much actually, it just goes to maybe tops 3, maybe a little bit over on some certain hits. And then here I have the density. This is the parallel track. No, this is the Klanghelm DC1A. And then I have the density. 2 free plugins, works unbelievably good. So check them out again. And then on the master track I have Slate again. I mean, why not? Oh yeah, and this is on the Trident emulation. I think this is one too. Yeah, because I was getting more better guitars out of that one, and a little bit more grit, because that's what I wanted on the guitars and everything. I mean, it's supposed to sound like 90s death metal. And then I have another one of the L3s because I think it sounds better and you get a more even and more natural limiting if you use 2 in series. That isn't hitting as much, unlike hitting 1 really hard. And here's the span, just to check the levels. And I think it sounds really good. It's pumping a little bit, but at the same time I wanted it to sound analog, and to me at least pumping is one of the artifacts that you can get if you drive stuff hard. And it's actually helping a little bit with automation, because when the drums are quiet and there's just one guitar, for example, going, then that get pushed up a little bit. Not too much, fortunately, so just a little bit, so it's like automatic automation. And I'm starting to get somewhere with this room. I moved this over to this side, so we'll have the computer here. Not this one, but the studio computer will be here, and I will probably build some kind of shelf for the monitors, both the screens and some kind of speakers for mainly for editing, but also just reference listening. And I don't know if I'm gonna use like a pair of cheap computer speakers, because I don't know if that's good for editing, but I want to be able to hear. I don't need to hear it well, but at least I want to hear everything, and I don't think they can provide that. So we'll see if I get another pair of, or if I'll swap some out, or yeah, we'll see. That one is just tools, and it's gonna be tools, but well, too heavy. It's gonna be tools, but that one is gonna stand over there, and I'm gonna extend the top shelf here a little bit, so that I can have tools there, and like the drill press and stuff like that for panel making, and I'll have like a desk extending over here for soldering, and I don't need a lot of space, just a space. And as I said, it's gonna stand over there. It's like behind the console and everything, so I will probably need to push my way underneath it or something, but I don't solder and work with those kind of stuff as often as I mix. So as I said before, the rack, one of the racks is going to be here, consoles. That rack, which is beneath all the crap, will be underneath the consoles, and I'll have another rack for the computer, and there will be yeah, you know, well, I've already told you. Here's the Sans amp, a childish looking Sans amp, but I like it. It looks dirty, it looks gritty, it looks homemade, and it is, so who cares, as long as it sounds good. And tomorrow I'll be leaving for Mansfield in England with my band to play, so I'm really just checking the mastering right now, so I know it's good. It sounds like it should, and that it sounds, there's no real artifacts that sounds like crap. So if I'm lucky, if I can let this go, I will probably send the finished album to Harassed tonight. So while I'm gone in England, they'll probably release it, so you can take a listen to what I've done, and I think you're really gonna like it, because it's a really, really good album. It's heavy, it's sick, it's like 90s style Swedish death metal should sound like, except it doesn't have a heavy metal 2 pedal, but honestly they sound like crap. So they have character, but that's about it. So I honestly think this sounds better. It's a staple for Swedish death metal, but sound-wise it's highly overrated. But that's just my opinion. I still want one, and I'm still gonna get one because I know a lot of clients wants one, and it has character. It has a bunch of it, so it's still cool. But this video has gone on long enough, and I don't think I have anything else to say except thanks for watching. I know some of you are enjoying it, and I met you, Jacob, in Copenhagen last week, and I know you enjoy it, so that's good. So there's the kids out playing. So that's it for a couple of days. Take care. Bye.